I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Folks, we introduce you to Belle Adonna. Hi, Belle.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well. First, introduce yourself to everybody, please.
Okay, so I'm the leader of Team Ataxin. We're trying to capture a legendary Pokemon, and in the meantime, from running the criminal organization, I also play video games on Twitch.
Oh, there you go. That's a full-time job and a full-time job.
Full-time job.
Yes.
And a full-time job.
So, when did you get started with the VTuber end of this?
So, technically, like 4 years ago, I just went through a bunch of different rebrands. And I took a break for like a year and a half. But I'm back at doing it again.
You're back.
I'm back.
Yes. So, what made you get started in it? I mean, did you want to stream before and just kind of found this more to your liking?
So I used to do speedruns. And you have to do video for that. And so I did it for a little bit. I never liked face camming. And then one of my partners showed me VTuber. I don't remember which one. Probably Gura. I don't remember. But then I was like, oh, that's a thing I can do. And then just dove into it and started doing VTubing, which just makes everything easier for my brain.
So how does it make it easier for you? I mean, the folks. I don't know if folks realize how easier it is for some people to do one than the other. Looking at it from the outside, I'd say, well, that seems like a lot more work.
And it is a lot more work. I will be clear. That part is a lot more complicated. It's more comfortable, I guess, because I can control how people interact and see me.
That's good. Yeah. And you don't have to necessarily clean the entire house to do it either.
Right.
Yeah. And the backgrounds and
that also helps.
Yeah.
I'm ADHD.
I'm messy.
Oh no, that works too.
Yeah. That comes from the bachelor days. Yeah, that's my bachelor days. Things stayed in the refrigerator until they walked out by themselves. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, one of those.
Yeah,
I got it.
yeah.
No, I mean, I can't say that I'm much better. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, well, as long as it doesn't eat me, it can do whatever it wants back there.
Exactly.
But how did you take to this? Once you saw how people were doing it and you wanted to do it yourself, I mean, you'd done content creation before. How much different of a world was it for you?
I mean, not terribly different. Like the theoretical things are the same. You're still trying to entertain people. You're still trying to like put on a show, but I can be more comfortable because I don't have to do face camming. I don't have to learn a bunch of stuff. Like I had to learn, how to make models and just all of this stuff and the VTubing things. And like, that's been complicated, but I like to learn things. So at the end of the day, it's just, I don't know. It's right. It feels very similar, but it's not as complicated for me.
Well, once you're into it, I imagine it's not as complicated. And was it easy for you to? I mean, you did a couple of rebrands, you said, but once you found this particular one, has it been easy for you to settle into that mode?
I think so. Like the one that I'm doing now it's not the same. So through my various rebrands, one of them I was trying to do for a short period of time was a Pokemon professor.
There you go.
So yeah, so I just kind of I went in a different direction on this current rebrand, and it's been pretty easy to stay in. Yeah. I really like it. I'm doing like slight visual changes, but it hasn't been as bad as it used to be, where I'm like a different character every 2 months.
Yeah. I mean, there's tweaking you can always do with stuff, but
Yeah.
I would think it's a lot easier to keep an audience if you stay the same person.
You would, yeah. The thing is, I have to do more things. I can't just do. It's hard for me to just do one thing and like settle down, I guess. Whereas if I just see a fun new shiny thing, I'm like, ooh, that's fun. Let me do that instead.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling comfortable and I like where the niche is currently. So,
So what about interacting with people during it? If you were doing content creation before on speed runs, I can't imagine you were doing a lot of chat while you're trying to speed run.
no, I'm just doing a bunch of chat. I love chatting when I'm doing
Really?
anything. The thing is, like, after a certain point, a lot of it becomes muscle memory. So you can, especially in very dead, like, so I used to run Undertale. I might again, I doubt it. But I used to run Undertale, and most of that game is mashing through text.
Oh, yeah. Just hit button, hit
So
button,
there's
button.
plenty of time to check chat while that's.
Yeah. So you got that one down pat.
I mean, I'm very rusty, and I think the highest I got was top 80 something.
Well, it's pretty good.
It's not terrible, but the person who I think they've finally been beaten, but Shay is like a huge runner of it, and they're just so much better. It's like that's part of why I stopped doing that game in particular. Is I don't think I'll ever come close to Shay.
Well, that type of stuff, I understand people enjoying that, and I would get so frustrated that you get halfway through and you have to do one certain move and your thumb falls off the thing and now there's no reason to go on because there's no way you're going to make up that time. Start over.
It is much worse when a run ends like halfway through.
Yeah, that was. I mean, the closest thing I could get to something like that is beating the original Super Mario game. On the NES way back in the day. I did it at 4:00 in the morning after getting home from work late. And then folks don't even realize this because maybe they've never beaten the game. But once you do that on the original, it changes the game. It gives you a second world where everything is much tougher.
Oh.
The mushrooms turn into those hard shell things at the end, and it really changes the game. And during that same run, I got to the last battle again, and fell into the lava.
Oh no!
I'm like, I could have beaten and found out what happened after this, but no, fell into the lava. And that would have been, that's the closest I got to to that. But I'd played that game over and over and over again just to find any little shortcut to get from one place to the other. I think that may be the original speedrun game, don't you think?
I think so. Definitely one of them at the very least. I know before speedrunning, it was typically high scores.
Yeah.
And speedrunning kind of came out of that. I want, like, it would make sense that like Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, stuff like that was the first in the genre.
Yeah. There's just some
Metroid,
things.
I think.
There's just some things in any game that you can't speed through, even though you want to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is going to take exactly 12 seconds.
Well, and that's part of the issue with Pokemon, because I thought about speedrunning Pokemon, but most of the ones I would want to do have unskippable cutscenes, so there's just a ton of time waste.
Yeah.
Through the cutscenes.
Yeah, and still, you still have to wait on things, don't you?
Yeah, for sure.
Try to find a Pokemon and
well, so for the earlier games, not so much, because you can do. Part of the reason I don't run like Gen 1 and Gen 2 and Gen 3 is there's like RNG manipulation you can do that's technically easy, but not actually easy because it's a lot of like frame perfect stuff.
Oh yeah.
But technically, yeah, you can give yourself the correct Pokemon that you need. With that, so it's consistent if it's not particularly easy.
Right. It's not cheating; it's exploiting, is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Lots of exploiting on speedruns.
Well, you have to. If a game has a glitch in it, that's how you speed run. I mean, you go from one place to
Yeah.
the other.
Well, I mean, I know I remember hearing about the Baldur's Gate one, and it's just like you pick Gale, you kill, I think, Shadowheart, throw her in a barrel, and that somehow teleports you to the end of the game in like 2 minutes. It's wild.
I bet the designers like they'll never find out about this.
I have no idea. I don't know how it works. I don't know anything behind it, but I saw it and I was like, that's ridiculous. That's why. How? How does this work?
That's there'd be something to interview him about. Did you do this on purpose? We didn't think anybody would find it. Who was going to throw it into a barrel? I mean, crying out loud. Never underestimate.
I mean, that makes sense.
Never underestimate hardcore gamers. They're going to try everything.
Oh, for sure.
And especially, have you found some things when you're doing the speed runs that maybe you didn't know about by accident? Shortcuts?
I don't know about shortcuts. I'm not super great at the glitch hunting part. I'm much better at the learning what the route is and doing the route.
Mm-hmm.
But I know going through routes, I found out things that I'm like, how does this even work?
Mm.
Specifically in Undertale, the version that I used to speedrun, which I don't think is the one people run now, but there was a glitch in one of the areas where you basically you've got to do like a specific movement to take a text box and keep it overlaid on the screen.
Oh.
And for this one particular one, you have to do it twice. And it just works somehow.
Yeah.
The opposite of that is I also there's one boss that for some reason you flat out can't skip.
Right.
There's nothing you can do to get out of that area.
Yeah.
Without triggering that boss fight. And none of the other ones are like that. Well, one of the other ones is like that, but you can still skip most of the fight for everyone else.
Right.
But like that one specifically, for some reason, you can't. There's no way to skip past it unless they found it out within the last like year or two.
Mm. Is that the last one with the king?
No, that one's pretty standard. You do have to do that fight, but I usually did True Pacifist, so I would have to go through that fight, then replay it to do the final fight on that too.
Yeah.
No, the one I'm talking like that's end story. That makes sense that can't be skipped. The one that I'm talking about is the Mad Dummy.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for some reason that's just not skippable. I don't know why. Maybe they found the skip for it, but like I was spending part of the reason I don't do game break, like I don't try and break games mostly, is because I spent like I think 2 or 3 weeks trying to figure out a way to maybe skip past that fight, and I straight up couldn't, like nothing. And everywhere I looked, everyone was like, "Nah, we can't skip this fight. This fight is just, you got to do it."
Now that's some focus there. Every day I thought about trying to skip the dummy fight.
It was just really annoying. It's like it's definitely a time save because I think the fastest you can get through it is like 5 rounds. And you've got to like perfectly hit a bunch of stuff, but I think you can beat it in 5 rounds, and that would be a decent amount of time skip because there's even that cutscene at the end of it, and it's a mess. Yeah,
and you can't click through the cutscenes and some
no.
Games, so they make sure that you read every excruciating moment of some of them, especially when you're trying to do the run.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, have you seen people fake the speed runs, and can you tell when somebody's faked it?
So I haven't personally seen anyone do it. I have seen faked speed runs, and I know some games how it works.
Yeah.
But they're older versions. Usually, like, I know recently they found out one of the Super Mario 64 players because of blinking. And the way that Mario was blinking, they could tell that it was spliced, which is crazy. Mario 64 is wild.
Yeah. It's a first of all, cheating is speed. I mean, come on, folks.
Yeah, like there's no reason to. Don't do it.
Either you can do it or you can't. Secondly, the people who know how to discover that stuff, they're putting a lot of. They have so much knowledge about it. They can figure out how this person did this exactly. It's forensic science there.
It's wild. I think that's the main reason that people that are runners of the game, especially really, really good ones, typically tend to be the ones that are like checking for fakes
Yeah,
because they would know in and out how the game works.
yeah, yeah. No, you can't beat this game in 10 seconds. That's just not going to happen. Just film the opening screen and the closing screen. I win. No.
I think Pokemon Yellow is almost that fast. If you're allowing glitches,
Yeah.
it's really short. Actually, let me see if I can. So now I'm trying to remember, but I think it's like within 10-15 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Pokemon Yellow.
You just pick your starter and then you're done.
You don't even go to the starter. You just, as soon as you jump into it, you do some menu manipulation, move some stuff into the correct place, and then it teleports you to the end. I think you have to like save and reload, but it's wild.
Wow.
20%.
Wow.
Okay, sorry, I was a little off. So 1 minute 18 seconds is the current any percent.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's menu manipulation. I think technically you have to go through parts of the Hall of Fame, so that's probably also part of it.
Wow.
You still have to go through the intro.
Yeah.
And then the menu manipulation.
Oh, wow. I take it. At the start of the speed runs, I take it back. I think it goes back to an old Atari 2600 game.
Maybe
there is a game that was a drag racing game.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and people have tried over and over and over to try to get the fastest time on that thing, and that's all the game was, just one run, just and
yeah, no, that was because I remember that was somebody. That person was friends with Billy Mitchell, right? And then it's like basically that dude cheated or something.
Mm-hmm. Folks, look up Billy Mitchell and yeah.
Oh, Billy Mitchell.
You'll shake your head quite a bit.
It's wild. Yeah. It's so uncomfortable that so much of his like self-esteem is built up into that. Like it's not even.
It's the definition of cringe.
I was gonna say it. I don't like saying it, but like, so I was like holding back. I was like, maybe don't say. No, it's cringe. There's nothing else to call it. It makes me cringe.
I'll hit it for you. Cringe. There's not any doubt. But
it's crazy.
But there is actually somebody who supposedly set a record in that game, and somebody tried to recreate it and found that it wasn't possible.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about. I can't remember his name specifically.
Yeah,
but I think he's friends with Billy Mitchell.
Yeah, he took the game apart and then figured out a way for an AI to run it at the most optimal level, and it still couldn't get that time. So it was like,
it's effectively he got better than a tool assisted speedrun of a game that like doesn't have enough variability to make that possible. It would be like beating the Super Mario Brothers task speedrun at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is, it's not happening.
No,
like
it isn't. Yeah, that's something, and for someone to put that much effort into it is.
Yeah.
I understand if you're having fun with it and you're really, trying to do something, and you were taking a run at it. You got up to number 80, and which is, I still think, is pretty excellent.
It's not bad.
Yeah, and we able to do it, and it's just kind of funny to me. And folks should check out the Billy Mitchell story for sure, because
it is wild,
and it's still going. It's still going.
It's still going?
Oh yes, still lawsuits.
I thought.
Still.
Yeah, because I remember the lawsuit with that YouTuber.
Yeah, it's still, lawsuits are still being filed against everybody. It's never ending. And
oh no.
You can't speed run Billy Mitchell's life.
No, for sure. Don't try it. It's not worth it.
Not worth it. But so what are the games are you playing on stream that you're doing the Pokemon, right? What other games?
We do a lot. So I do a bunch of Pokemon. Recently I started, I had to cut my last stream short because my bitrate dropped. But I started doing the Pokemon Emerald Legacy ROM hack because it looked good. The Legacy series is really solid.
Yeah.
And I wanted to test it out.
Yeah.
I have ideas for other ones, but I got to find people to collab with. But it's basically going to be, if you're familiar with the Then We Battle types of videos on YouTube,
okay,
where it's like some random thing, you have to pick a Pokemon of 3 starters, do it 6 times, and then fight. Videos in that area of doing it too. I just need to find enough people.
Oh, cool.
And then we do on Saturdays, usually, not this one, a Commander game. So we do like Magic the Gathering Commander, and it's usually just whoever wants to show up to do it. That's another one where I'm mostly looking for people to also collab on it. Just because it's fun. I like hanging out with people. I like collabing. Yeah. It's a good time.
It is. I to do something like that. So, have you done the Nuzlocks?
Oh yeah, I've done Nuzlocks. I actually recently did a crowd control Nuzlocke of Emeralds. Oh. And that was awful.
Oh my god.
I didn't finish it. Yeah. I ended up dying at Maxi, I think. I think we got to Maxi. And then, because it was also randomized, but the opponents had better like moves than I did, like more consistent moves.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting stomped at Maxi, I think. I might pick that back up, but if I do, I'm probably going to tweak it slightly. Yeah. Maybe not crowd control it. I just don't. It doesn't do much. Like, it seems cool theoretically, but it's a lot. We'll see.
Always. With the crowd control, first of all, I don't know if folks realize this. That means that the chat can play a big part into what goes on. Make it worse or better or usually worse.
we lost like 2 runs because there was somebody that was in my chat game, Good Games Done Casual. They just killed 2 of my starter Pokemon just out the gate.
Oh,
so
I
immediately killed the run. Yeah. But it was funny. It was fun.
Just play me out.
Like, all right, I guess we're doing this again.
Just do the shuffle off the buffalo, and then you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that the randomized too really throws an extra charge into it. You could get lucky and get easy stuff, or you could run into a god Pokemon right away.
Well, there was the wild thing is one of them I thought I was going to actually do really good because I had pulled a Wonder Guard Chikorita. So like it couldn't be hit by super effective moves, and none of the Pokemon that I was dealing with up to that point were super effective.
Right.
But the issue came with Roxanne, like the first gym, because they changed the type got changed from rock to poison, which was super effective, and then wiped me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just happened to do that.
just luck. Just terrible luck.
Oh, so how randomized do you get it when you do these things?
Usually if I randomize it myself, I tend to do Pokemon are randomized locations, trainers have random Pokemon, gyms have more Pokemon. I try and keep the type consistent, but not necessarily the same. So like in the Roxanne is usually rock and then was poison in that. So it's like it's still themed, but it's not the same one. I'll also, I think on one of them I did random abilities. On that one actually, I did random abilities and random items.
Yeah.
Basically everything except for like messing with the moves themselves, although I do change the moves they get. So I'll also randomize what moves everybody has. But I'm not like actually messing with the moves or the typings.
So do you change where you can go in where the buildings change?
No, that sounds fun though. I need to figure that out.
I've seen people do that, and that's
I've seen those. Those look wild. Where it's like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah. You go. People go into the caves and they come out in somebody's house.
So I think I've found the program that does that.
Yeah.
I just haven't had a chance to play with it yet.
Oh.
But I think it's Archipelago. And I grabbed it, but I haven't had a chance to goof with it yet.
Yeah.
But if so, I would love to do a race with this specifically and have like three or four different Gen 3 Pokemon games going.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I've seen people do that. I think Peanut Butter Gamer did it. Maybe.
Yeah, I think Small Ant's done it. I bet Peanut Butter's done it. Peanut Butter does a lot of stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I watch him a lot. But but the to me, you start losing where you are.
Oh yeah,
and you
for
can
sure.
and you can get a situation where you can't win because you can't get to where you need to go.
So if the thing that I've got is what I'm thinking it is, it does at least have apparently like guardrails so that it shouldn't put you in a losing state.
Okay.
Like the randomizer should give you a way to win no matter what. It may just be difficult to find, but technically you can still beat it.
You have to dive underwater and hold your breath and
yeah.
stuff that you can only win.
Not that it's easy, but
you can only have Magikarp to win. It's
right. Yeah.
That's the only way to
splash 20 times.
But it is fun to watch that sort of thing, and I've seen them do that with like Zelda too, and just drives them crazy. But a Nuzlocke with that would be, I mean, you're taking it to 11 when you do that.
Yeah, that would be rough for sure.
Maybe if you could start off with a God Pokemon, maybe that'll help.
I mean, if you get lucky, but if you don't, that's a nightmare.
You start off with I don't know, a Piplup or something, something not particularly useful. Wurmple.
Wurmple.
The first thing you hit is a God Pokemon. Okay, we're done.
That usually my luck is my Pokemon is bad and everyone else is just good.
Yeah. You come up to a bug guy and he has a Charizard.
No, but there was one time that actually reminded me. I was streaming with a friend. We were doing a Nuzlocke together, and both of us had randomized the card differently. Like we had done different randomizations.
Oh.
And we both talked to the same person, and that person had a Rayquaza on both of the cards, which was wild.
Oh, yeah, and painful.
Yeah, I don't remember if we lost there or not, because the randomizer wasn't as bad to me earlier.
Yeah.
We might have whited out there. I do not remember. I just remember that happening, and it was awful.
Oh man, those are fun to watch. Are they fun to play?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love playing them.
Yeah, they're not too frustrating.
I mean, not really. Like at the end of the day, it's a game.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get that mad about. Like I can get a little salty, but I'm not gonna get like super heated about it. Like if something makes me mad, I just stop doing it.
Yeah.
Because I don't like getting mad. I like getting salty, but I don't like getting mad.
It's like when I was playing Fallout and Fallout New Vegas, I think, and I get into something and I'm like, I start yelling in the living room. And Missy's like, you need to turn it off now.
You gotta turn it off. Well, and that's why I don't play some particular types of games anymore, because it's just, if I get mad, I don't want to play it. I don't like being mad.
Yeah. If I'm going to get mad, I'll go back to work. That'll happen in a hurry. Well, it sounds like it's become kind of an escape for you, but also an escape and a hobby and something that kind of scratches the itch to entertain people.
Yeah. I've pretty much always liked entertaining people. When I was younger, I got super into Magic.
Yeah,
so I would do that just to kind of have a fun thing to do and give me an excuse to like interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what I use VTubing for now. It's just a really good excuse to talk with people and have a good time.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And the internet itself is just it has made the world so small in many ways.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. As I was talking with someone just a little while ago from Australia, and I can tell you this, when I started radio in 1984, 100 years ago, it would have cost $1,000 million over Ma Bell's phone lines, and it would have sounded terrible.
Oh, for sure.
And now I could just turn on a microphone here at home. They could turn on the microphone there, and it sounds like they're next door.
Yeah, it is honestly wild how easy it's made some things,
Yeah.
especially just stuff like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's wild.
Yeah. Now that you got folks who are coming back to you and coming back for you, um, how does that hit you? Is it endearing? Is it fulfilling? Is it scary?
No. Well, I wouldn't say scary. I've had interactions where it's been bad, so I've changed my content to make that less of an issue. But no, I know Paris has been coming to my streams since like I started 4 years ago, and was like immediately back into the chat when I came back recently. So like that's cool. It's super cool to just have people that will still that enjoy being around you and spending time with you. To that degree.
Yeah. Do you start to feel a bit of a responsibility toward them?
To an extent. Like, I still want to do stuff that's good and is enjoyable for them to watch. But I don't let it doesn't guide me too much, because at the end of the day, like, especially the people that are there in that degree, they're pretty much there, and that means I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
So I just kind of keep going, and I guess, yeah, that would be kind of like that guides me in like what I want to do. But at the same time, it's just you can't, or at least I can't, focus too much on that. And I don't think it's super important in this particular situation.
Yeah. No, you could.
I want to make sure they're good, and I want to make sure they have a good time in a safe community, but that's mainly it. I think the content seems to be mostly fine either way, like no matter what.
Yeah, you can tie yourself up into a knot with some of these things, and
yeah,
and not only not make it not fun, but make it stressful to the point where you just kind of lose the want to even turn the microphone on.
Oh yeah, well that was part of the problem early on. Well, not early on, but like part of the reason I stepped away to begin with was I was doing more not safe for work stuff, and I got a lot of really uncomfortable messages and people clearly being like too parasocial.
Yeah, the boundaries tend to not be there with stuff like
that. And like some people can handle that and are great with that, and like don't feel like it's totally fine. Everybody's getting something out of it. I'm not dissing anyone that does that. It's great.
Yeah.
For me, when I see that type of reaction from someone, and I did it, whether like I did it unintentionally, it doesn't feel good, and also it's really awkward to have to deal with that when they think something's happening when there's not anything happening.
Oh yeah, and then to have to come back on stream, I imagine, and pretend to other people that that's not on your mind.
Right.
It's like, oh,
and it gets to be a lot. It's a lot to deal with, and so yeah, I've moved a lot more just general safe for work type beat, and I like it more.
Yeah, but you can still curse, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no. So I'm 18 plus, but not in a sexy way.
Yeah.
In a, I like to say the fuck word way. Like, I want to be clear. I curse a lot.
They should have the different things for that 18M and 18F.
18F. I think technically Twitch kind of does that. Because like you can market 18, but they don't want like nudity on the websites. Like I think that's kind of how Twitch does it.
Yeah, supposedly, yes. For some and not for others.
I mean,
That opinion is mine and mine alone.
Right. Like, that's just kind of how things be. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, it's just, like, I just like to say fuck a lot. It's a good word. And my mother cursed like a sailor. So,
yes.
like, I'm gonna say it a lot. It is what it is.
When my 80-year-old mom says it, it just drives me crazy. I just fall over laughing.
That's so good.
It just is too much to me. I can't help but laugh when she says it.
It's like, for some reason, when old people and when babies say curse words, it's the most funny thing. It's the funniest thing ever.
Yes.
Like, just every time.
Yes. That's where you get movies like Bad Grandpa. Don't teach the kids those words. Oh, yeah, well, I probably won't.
I probably won't.
Probably. Well, you sneak them another Hershey bar so they get sugared up. That's her job. Sugar them up, send them back home.
That makes sense. Yes. That checks out.
Yes. So, what's your plans in the short term for the channel? I mean,
so short term, I'm mostly gonna focus on more collaborations, because I'm already streaming pretty much every day a week. I've got, even if it's just for like 2 hours, I will stream every day except for Sunday most of the time because I have like a conflict.
Right.
But basically it's just going to be, I'm trying to get into more collabs, have that happen more. I'm going to be working on more lore game stuff.
Good.
So I'm doing a ROM hack of probably Emerald to just for like my stuff. Yeah. I want to make like the whole region and the Pokemon and stuff.
Yeah.
So that'll be happening. And then the Commander series is still going to keep going. So it's mostly just making what I can, seeing what ends up being really comfortable for me and figuring out from there.
Well, keep me in touch. Let me know what's going on with you. And and you get some of these big events coming up. If you have some, let me know and we can promote it a little bit for you. It sounds,
heck yeah.
I mean, it's been absolutely great talking with you, and I'm glad you're able to come on. And
yeah, same.
And folks, we're going to have all of the links we've been able to find for Belle Adonna in the description for the video. And again, thank you so much for coming on, and I hope we can get you back soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.